Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suranjali Seal, and like I always say, if you are somebody that loves literature and is all about literature, then this is the channel for you. In our video today, we're going to continue with the summary of the Faerie Queene Book 1 Canto 1 by Edmund Spenser. Now we have already started with Book 1 Canto 1 and its summary and its explanation in part 1 of this video. So if you haven't checked that video out, make sure you do so. In that part, that is part 1, I have already dealt with the character sketches of the heroes and the heroines and the villains that appear in Book 1 Canto 1. We've dealt with the symbolisms, the allegories that they represent, and the meaning of their characters, the importance of their characters, and then we've also progressed with the story till the part where the Red Cross Knight defeats error. And in this part, which is part 2, we're going to continue the story from there, and then we're going to deal with Archimago specifically here. So therefore, if you haven't checked out part 1, make sure you do so and then return to this video. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. Now we will have a look at the Red Cross Knight's his acquaintance, his meeting, and his dealing with Archimago. Now at length they by chance, okay, so what they're saying here is by chance they met an aged sire, okay, on the road, an old man. They met him, and the description of Archimago at first glance, okay, the first impression, you have to actually underline all the important features, okay, so to say, descriptions. So he has long black weeds, he clad, his feet all bare, his beard all grey, and by his belt he had a book also, and he seemed very sagely. So these are the characteristics you have to mark. He seemed very sagely, he seemed very sad, his eyes were always bent to the ground, and then it felt as if he was devoid of malice, that he did not have malice, that he was genuine, okay, and simple in show, and all the way he prayed, okay, throughout the way he was praying, and often he knocked at his breast, okay, he beat his chest. Why? As if he was repenting for something, okay. So this is the first image we get of Archimago. So Archimago at first glance actually comes out or seems like a very genuine and very religious person. Now he saluted the knight, and the knight asks him, do you know of any evils around here? Do you know what are the dangers that lurks around? So he says that I'm a poor man, I'm an old man, and I am somebody who is occupied with religion, with this idea of sin and repenting. How can a simple man like me know all of these worldly things? How will I know who's good and who's bad? So, but he says, but I do have information of a very bad man, a very bad person which is a danger. He's like a danger that dwells around here. I have a few information, so I can tell you about the man if you want, but otherwise I have no idea of what you're talking about. So what he's trying to portray is that he's so simple, and he's so occupied with this idea of repenting his sins. He's so occupied with religion and his faith that he doesn't have time to think about all of other things. But at the same time, he again says, I have an idea of one person, I will tell you about him. So chances are he's talking about himself, because he's Archimago, right? He's deceiving them, so he's talking about himself. Now he's saying that and shall you well reward to show the place. I will show you the place, okay, where you can go. He says, there's a strange man, I can tell you, I can you tidings tell, that waseth all his country fair and near. Of such, said he, I chiefly do inquire. I do inquire about weird happenings around here. I do inquire about these kind of information. And shall you well reward to show the place. I'll show you the place also, and in which that wicked in which that wicked man lives. I'll show you the place also. So let's go. So you know what Archimago is doing over here. He's, from the beginning, he seems genuine, but if you decode the lines that he's telling him, they don't add up. At one point he's saying that I do not commit any sin, I do not know about these worldly things that are going on, good, evil, I'm too occupied with repenting. But again, at the second time, he says, I do know about one person, and I will show you the place also. That means he knows the details. So you know, they don't add up. So now let's move on further. So now what happens is, he says that I know this evildoer's place, and he resides in a place which is not frequented by many people. It is far away from populated areas, and it is a place where not many people pass by, but whoever passes by, they have to endure hardships, they go through distress. So he's saying, for hence, quoth he, in wasteful wilderness his dwelling is, by which no living wight may ever pass, but a thorough great distress, or through great distress. So whoever passes through this evil person's house, they go through distress. Okay, now said the lady, that is Una, is saying that it's drawing towards night, and she's saying that your latter fight, that is the fight that you had fought with error, must have made you tired, so it's imperative that we get some rest. We need to sleep, we need to rest and gain energy. Okay, so she's saying, now there's a symbolism which she again draws, and she says, the sun that measures heaven all day long, at night does bait its steeds the ocean waves among. So she's saying that the whole day the sun is up in the sky, it's measuring heavens, and while dusk, that is when it's sinking into behind, like if you imagine an ocean, and when the sun sinks, okay, behind the ocean almost, so you can understand it's dusk, right? So during dusk time, she's saying even the ocean lets its horses, okay, horses drink water from the ocean, okay, during dusk time, like to gain and conserve energy for the next day. So that's just the symbolism which she's drawing. Then with the sun takes her, so now this part is they're convincing each other that, okay, let's take rest, we'll go to this sire's house. That is, they decide that we'll go to Archimago's house to take rest. Now remind yourself always that they still don't know it's Archimago. It's because I'm explaining to you that I'm telling you it's Archimago, but you have to have it clear in your mind that Una, the Red Cross Knight, and the dwarf, they don't know that it's Archimago. Okay, they take him to be a genuine sire, and now they follow him to his house. Then in this part, the next part, it was a description of the hermitage, okay, that there was a lowly hermitage, like very humble abode. Okay, it was a very humble hermitage down in a dale, hard by a forest side. So by a forest side, it was situated far from resort of people, like it was far from the touch of people. Okay, it was isolated. That did pass and travel to and fro. A little wide there was a holy chapel, so just from a distance from it there was a holy chapel as well, wherein the hermit duly wont to say, so he goes in the morning and in the evening, twice he goes to the chapel to pray. So his holy things each morning and evening he goes there. Thereby a crystal stream did gently play. So there was a stream also nearby, okay, which from a sacred fountain welled forth away. So there was a stream which is supposedly from a sacred fountain, and it was flowing by. There was a chapel, and there was this humble abode. Now you remember that I told you that Archimago is also the image, okay, arch image, and it symbolizes this attack on Catholicism. I wouldn't really call it attack, but at that time during the age of Elizabeth, there was this sort of balance. Okay, there was no more this skirmishes between the Protestants and Catholics, but periodic problems did crop up. There was still many differences. They did not see eye to eye on many points, the Catholics and the Protestants. So Spencer was he was the one who followed Protestantism. He followed the Anglican Church. So here when his reference to chapel and this away from people, far away from people, praying twice, and this stream of holy water, all of these things kind of hint towards that. Okay, so we'll not go into the religious symbolism over here at all. It's just for your knowledge. Okay, what we have to focus here is Archimago is about appearances. Okay, it's about illusion. So let's just go and see what this arch magician is going to bring about. Now we will look at the little house. Okay, when they went there was no entertainment, nor did they seek for entertainment, because they were so tired. Okay, so rest is their feast. That for such travelers who have been on a journey, traveling continuously, rest is a feast. Okay, rest would be like a blessing. So you know, and all things at their will. They had everything at their will, but they did not look for entertainment whatsoever. The noblest mind the best contentment has. Now what the evening, so they pass. How did they pass their evening? With fair discourse. They talked about religion. They spoke with each other. They conversed. They talked about religion. The old man had pleasing words. So you know, you have pleasing words. Okay, in store, and well could file his tongue as smooth as glass. So he knew what they wanted to hear. He said what they wanted to hear. So he was very good at speaking. And he told of saints and popes and evermore. He stored and okay, so what he did was he was talking about religion. Okay, now this last part he was talking about saints and popes. So you understand, he's an arch magician. Okay, so when he's deceiving them, he's pretending to be very pure. He's pretending to have an idea of religion. He's pretending to have an idea of these things. Okay, so you can indirectly, again, you can see how Spencer's taking a jibe at Catholicism. But apart from that, if you have to just look at the storyline, what you have to remember is Archimago, if you have to character sketch him, he had a tongue as smooth as glass, and he had pleasing words. That is, everything is words, no actions, no play. Okay, action speaks louder than words, right? Now we're going to look at his actions. What kind of actions did he perform? The moment, okay, they fell asleep, he went into his study, and then he this is the part, okay, unto their lodgings his guests he rides. He took them to their lodgings, where when all drowned in deadly sleep he finds. Okay, he goes, when they fell asleep, he goes to his study, and there he takes out his magic books and starts conjuring up spirits, uttering choosing few words most horrible. It's written there, let none them read thereof did verse fame, with which the other spells like terrible. So he's invoking Plutus, his wife, Plutus's wife. Okay, and then he's cursing heaven. He's using reproachful words. So basically everything that he had portrayed in the beginning was false. It was deceitful. He is an arch magician. Okay, so this is Archimago. Now let's see what he is going to do to break or try and stir up problems and detach the Red Cross Knight from Una, that is holiness, from truth. Okay, so let's move on further. So now we come to the part where he is conjuring up spirits. Okay, so and forth he clad out of deep darkness dread legions of spirits, the which like little flies fluttering about his ever damned head. So what happens is he takes out the book, and then he conjures up, he's reciting verses, and then he's conjuring up spirits. And now if you remember the Lord of the Flies, okay, whenever I would not want to say devil, but whenever we associate evil, we associate it with the fly. Okay, so here too it's symbolic that these spirits, evil spirits, they were like flies fluttering around his head. They were waiting for him to give them an order. So await where to their service he applies, to aid his friends or fay his enemies. So they're waiting for orders, that you want us to help your friends, or do you want us to vanquish your enemies? What do you want? Give us your order. Of those he chose out two. Now amongst all of these spirits he chose out two, and with one he gave him a message, that go deliver a message, and the other he set him that, okay, you do this work for me. There's no specifics mentioned as to what message is it yet, and there's no specific mentioned as what other work the other spirit had to do. But you have to just remember that he picked two spirits out of the many, and he gave one the assignment of delivering a message, and he gave the other some work to do. Okay, now he, who's this he over here? It is that spirit. Okay, making speedy way through spursed ire and through the world of waters wide. And so what he's doing is, this spirit is traveling the world, and he's going to the person that he's going to deliver the message to, and the message is meant for Morpheus. Like I said, the third negative character. I wouldn't really say villain, but negative character, but he's been villainized here. So this spirit makes his way to Morpheus, okay, Morpheus's kingdom, and amid the bowels of the earth full steep, and lo, where dawning day does never peep. So day doesn't peep there. He's going deep into the earth. Day doesn't peep there. So villainized Morpheus, villainized god of sleep. So his dwelling is there. Tethys his wet bath doth ever wash. So the Tethys sea washes his bed. So his bed is always wet. Okay, so this is Morpheus, and he's saying ki in silver dew his ever drooping head. Oh, Cynthia still does steep in silver dew his ever drooping head. Cynthia, as in the moon, has its silver dew over his head. Okay, while sad night, like there's the moonlight over his head, and sad night over him her mantle black doth spread. So he's sleeping, he's always sleeping, and there's this moonlight over his head, and just in his mantle there's night, you know, sleep, night, these are all symbolisms. So you know, the moon is there, moon is lurking here and the moon is shining, but there's night in the main mantle portion of his head, and he's always asleep. So whose double gates he findeth locked. So when this messenger, he reaches Morpheus's lair, and then he sees that it's locked, the double gates are locked. The one fair framed and burnished, okay, one was of ivory and the other was silver, and wakeful dogs, there are dogs that are guarding the gates, and they're guarding against whom? Against care. Okay, watching to banish care, their enemy. So care is their enemy. How is care their enemy? You know, when you have care, I don't mean like care as in care that we know today. I meant like what we mean here by care is this concern. Whenever suppose you have something to do tomorrow, you'll wake up early, right? If you have to say travel, your train or your flight is at 6 a.m. in the morning, you'll wake up by 4 or 5 or 3 o'clock to actually get your work done, be prepared, reach the airport, right? But suppose you don't have the care in the world, you're just carefree, you have nothing else to do, you're over idle and tired, you sleep the whole day, you don't really care about anyone. So these dogs are guarding against care, that once you have that care, that intention that okay, tomorrow I have this work to do, you will not oversleep. You will have this, you know, we say this biological time sets in, especially in school children. Tomorrow we have school, so we'll wake up at 7, 8 o'clock is assembly. So you know, our biological time sets through care, through that intention that okay, tomorrow I have school. But some people, you'll see that you'll just keep sleeping because you don't care what time will you wake up tomorrow. So you know, the dogs are actually guarding against care, that do not disturb sleep. Okay, so who is wont to trouble gentle sleep. So care often wants to trouble sleep. By them the spirit does pass in quietly, and unto Morpheus comes. So he passes them and he comes to Morpheus. Now let's just see how he wakes up Morpheus and what message he delivers to him. So there's this atmosphere of quiet and sleep that permeates throughout Morpheus's house, okay? And now to add more to that feeling of drowsiness, to that feeling of sleep and quiet, okay? There's this trickling stream from a high rock tumbling down, and ever drizzling rain upon the loft, mixed with a murmuring wind, much like the song of swarming bees, did cast him in a swoon. So see, what happens is, there's this stream that's trickling down over a rock, okay? And the sound of it kind of is like a lullaby for him. The sound of the trickling stream, the water, it is like a lullaby for Morpheus. It's his lullaby for sleep. And it tumblings down, and there's this ever drizzling rain. Now, you know, everybody says, whenever it rains, oh, it'll be nice to sleep. Like, it's nice to sleep with the sound of rain, because there is this element of peace. Everything blurs out, right? Because of the rain, you cannot hear anything except the pitter-patter of the rain. So the same thing for him, the sound of the stream and the rain is like a lullaby for him. It lulls him to sleep. So no other noise nor people's troubles cries. So it's the same thing for us as well. As still are wantonly and walled down might there be heard, but careless quiet liars wrapped in eternal silence, far from enemies. So he's far from enemies, eternal silence, he's in his zone. Okay, so that is the thing. If you're too zoned out also, it is not good, you know. So what happens is, the messenger approaches him, tries to wake him up. He doesn't wake up. He shakes him violently. He tries to wake up again. He's half asleep, half in a dream. So this the next stanza deals with that. After that, this part is important. The spirit then again more boldly him to wake, that he threatened him, that more boldly he threatened him, and dreaded name of Hecate. So Hecate is a goddess, okay? And hearing her goddess, this goddess of the underworld, hearing her name kind of awoken him. Okay, he woke up, and then he asked him, why did you come? And then he says, I came here because Archimago sent me. So he said, what does he want? Now this is what he wants. Again, underline, he bids thee him send for his intent, a fit false dream that can delude the sleeper's scent. So he's saying that that Archimago has asked you to send dreams, okay, false dreams, that he says that send fit false dream that can delude the sleepers sent. That is, the sleepers who are sleeping, they will be deluded, they will be misguided by these dreams. Send me such dreams that will misguide these sleepers, misguide these people who are sleeping. So this is Archimago's first attempt to actually create this misunderstanding, ultimately separate the Red Cross Knight from Una. Okay, so let's go and look into that. Now in stanza 44, the god obeyed, that is Morpheus obeyed, and calling forth straightway a diverse dream out of his prison dark. So there's this dark prison where he actually stores his dreams, and from that prison he takes out a diverse dream, and he hands it out to the messenger, and he says, okay, deliver it to him. So the messenger delivers it to Archimago. Now his heavy head devoid of careful cark, whose senses all were straight, benumbed and stark, he back returning by the ivory door. So that ivory door, he's returning back, okay, to his master. Now what was the master doing? Now this part you can read on your own, okay, nothing else to explain there. It's just that dream had given sleep had given, or Morpheus had given a dream. You see, there's this even resemblance to morphine, right? So that drowsiness that I'm actually insinuating here, it's all linked, okay? So what happens, he takes the dream, he comes back to Archimago. Now when he was with Morpheus, what was Archimago doing in the meantime? Remember, he instructed one person to be the messenger and the other person was to do some work. What was that work? Who all this while, meanwhile, while this messenger was with Morpheus, meanwhile, with charms and hidden arts and charms he employed, had made a lady of that other spirit. That other spirit who was going to work, he made a lady out of him. He used magic to transform him into a lady, and framed of liquid air her tender parts. He framed her body by liquid air, like airy. It's almost like an apparition, so that if anybody tried to catch her or strangle her or entrap her, she could easily pass out, okay, she could easily escape. So he made her apparition, her body parts, through liquid air, with liquid air, so lively and so like in all means sight, that weaker sense it could have ravished quite. So he's saying that, Spencer saying that this lady that he made was so lively and so lifelike that if people who were easily deceived, if people who were fooled by her, or people who were so weak as to not see through her deception, if they were so weak people would easily be entrapped by her, would easily believe that she's real. And the maker self, for all his wondrous wit, was nigh beguiled with so goodly sight. Her all in white he clad, and over it cast a black stole, most like to seem for Una fit. So basically, after adorning her with the clothes, he wanted her to resemble Una. He wanted her to look like Una, and that's the image that he's going to use to try and defile or try to deceive holiness. Okay, so this next part in this stanza 46, you will see that dream was brought to him, and then, you know, like the last part is important, the first part isn't, but the last part is important. He says that he taught to imitate that lady true, whose semblance she did carry under feigned hue. Okay, so you can underline that. He taught the spirit to actually imitate the lady truth, Una. So lady true, okay, whose semblance, the resemblance, did she carry under feigned hue as in deception, feigned hue, deceptive hue, that is, she's not real. Okay, so she carried her resemblance, but she's not the original, she's not the truth. So I hope this is clear. So now we'll move on further. Now, thus well instructed to their work, they hast the coming where the night is a slumber lay. So what happens is, after being instructed, this messenger comes to this the night where he was lying asleep, and he puts that dream the bad dream, okay, into his head, into his strong head, and made him dream of loves and lustful play. So that is what the dream was about. The moment he puts it in the knight's head, the knight starts dreaming. He starts dreaming of lustful play, of dreams of loves, okay, which he had usually avoided, which he did not before ever give that much of importance to, did not ever engage in all of those things. And now, because of this dream, he's visioning it, he's seeing it in his dream. The night his manly heart did melt away, and his heart was melting away because he was seeing it and he was being triggered by it. He was kind of surrendering to it, okay, slowly. Then bathed in wanton bills and wicked joy, then seemed him his lady by him lay. So as he was dreaming and he was beginning to become weak and surrender to these lustful joys, it seemed to him as if Una was lying beside him. So it is actually that spirit that came and lied beside him. So he was in his dream, he felt as if Una is right there, okay. And to him played now that false winged boy, her chaste heart had subdued to learn Dame Pleasure's toy. So what happens, she's when Una is lying next to him and he's dreaming, right, of these lustful joys. So he's dreaming as if Una is saying that Cupid had come to her and struck her with the arrow, and now like she wants him for herself, you know, those kind of things he's actually dreaming. And she herself a beauty sovereign queen, okay. So what happens over here, that this new woman, okay, who this Archimago had conjured up, this new woman, she's not the real Una, right? So when the knight actually wakes up from the dream, because he's dreaming these lustful things, when he wakes up, he sees her in front of him, and she also makes advances towards him, okay. She tries to actually lull him or lure him towards her. Now what happens is, like, you have to understand this, that Una would never do that. She's truth, okay. This deceitful woman has a veil over her. If you would read the details, you'll know that she has a veil over her face, over her head, and she's not showing her face. So that is like deceit. So this deceitful person is in front of Red Cross Knight. So what is the predicament? Does he fall for it or he does not? And if he doesn't fall for it, what helps him not fall for it? And you remember, all this while the real Una is sleeping, okay, she's sleeping. So you see, you need truth around holiness in order to make the right decision. Now truth is asleep and holiness has to face this deceit on his own. So we have to see what choice does he make, what decision does he take. So this advance towards her, he becoming weak, he falling prey to that dream, it happens in these stanzas, okay. So you can read that on your own. Now we'll move on further. Now let's look at stanza 50. Now in stanza 50, you see, all clean dismayed to see so uncouth sight, and half enraged at her shameless guise, he thought have slain her in his fierce despite. So what happens is, he's so shocked by her advances, okay, that she's trying to lure him, the way she's behaving, he's so shocked by it, he's completely dismayed. He's in utter surprise, utter repulsion also. He's not liking it, and he's so angry that he would have slain her, okay. He would have killed her because he was that angry with her behavior, with the kind of advances that she was making. And of course, this is the false spirit, it is not Una, but he doesn't know it, he doesn't realize it. So what happens is, he would have slain her, but he decides that, okay, no, let's control our anger, and he tries to understand that why are you behaving this way. He tries to decode the reason behind her behaving like this so suddenly. So, you know, he stayed his hand, gained himself advice. He tells himself that, okay, prove his sense and attempt her feigned truth. Like, try to understand what's going on. And wringing her hands in women's piteous wise, thou canst she weep to stir up gentle truth. So what she's doing, she's wringing her hands like this, you know, like that, because of nervousness, because everything that she's trying is not working, okay. She has tried to lull him, but he's strong enough to withhold himself from surrendering to her. So she's wringing her hands and she's like, what do I do? What do I do? I need an idea to actually lure him into my trap. So she's out of ideas. So what she does is that she starts crying. And now in this stanza 51, you will read it on your own. She basically starts crying and says that, my love, my knight, my lord, I have, you know, like, I only wanted love, and all that I'm getting from you is hate. hate. So she's actually giving her own sense of justification just to entrap him. Okay, in 52 also, the first part is basically what she's saying, that you know, I left my father's kingdom and I trust you, all of those things. You read it on your own. The last two lines underline, and it's important. Why, dame, quoth he, what hath he does dismayed? What Faerie that were wont to comfort me afraid? So he says that, how are you so afraid? What is wrong with you? Like, what is with you? Like, why are you behaving this way? You are asking me for comfort, but you were my comfort. When I was afraid, all the while you comforted me, you were my strength, and now you are afraid. So he's trying to understand that why is she behaving this way? Okay, so let's move on further. Now let's look at stanza 53. So you see the Red Cross Knight is saying, why are you afraid? Why this sudden change? So what this false Una is saying, love for yourself, she said, and dear constraint lets me not sleep. But what's the weary night in secret anguish and unpitied plaint, whilst you in careless sleep are drowned quite. So she's saying that while you are sleeping, you're careless, okay? It's the love for you and, you know, this attraction that I have towards you. It's that keeps me up at night. It is that makes me restless. It's that what I want. While you are sleeping quietly and you're in restful, careless sleep, I am the one who's tormented because of these feelings. Her doubtful words made that redoubted knight suspect her truth. So because she was like, I love you, it is because of your love. Then she's also saying, no, it's because of my attraction. Then she's crying. Sometimes she's not crying. So, you know, all of these things, no, was making him doubt her truth. That whether she's telling the truth or not, he's doubting. Okay, but since no untruth he knew, since there's no proof that she's lying also, there's no proof of a truth, there's no proof of a lie also, for sure, her fawning love with foul disdainful spite, he would not shend. So because there's no proof that she is lying also, he cannot outrightly reject her. You understand? Because he still thinks it's Una, right? So he cares for her feelings. So he cannot just completely thrash her feelings aside also. So he would not shend, but said, dear dame, I rue that for my sake unknown such grief unto you grew. So he's saying that because I did not know that because of me you were suffering so much. Okay, that's what he's saying. Now in stanza 54, assure yourself, it fell not all ground for all so dear as life is to my heart. So he's saying that as much as life I value, as much as life is close to my heart, my love for you also is that close to my heart. So my love for you has not gone down into the ground. I still have love for you. So he's trying to assure her that you don't have to be so agitated and restless. My love is there. Then I deem your love and hold me to you bound. Nay, let vain fears procure your needless smart. So he's saying that you don't have to be afraid. You know, my love is there. Now you see this part, you see, okay, her mournful plain text, you just look down there, it's in the third last line. Beguiled of her art and fed with words that could not choose but please. So sliding softly forth, she turned as to her ease. So you see, like, none of her deceitful ways worked, okay, with the Red Cross Knight. Okay, so what does? She moved gently away from him. Like, she didn't want to. She thought that he'll just fall for her and she'll devour him. Okay, but no, because it did not work, she gently just slides away, you know, because there's nothing else to do. She failed. So long after lay he musing at her mood. So he's thinking long after he was lying in bed, and he kept thinking that what's wrong with her? Why this sudden change? Much aggrieved to think that gentle dame so light. So for whose defense he was to shed his blood. So he was grieved that I'm going to shed my blood for this person who is amorous, who is lustful, who is not chaste. Okay, remember Una is the picture of the maiden virtues. She is the embodiment of the maiden virtues, and now he's thinking that this false truth or false Una is the real one. So he's grieved that I'm going to shed my blood for a person like this, for whose defense he was to shed his blood. At last, dull weariness of former fight, having rocked his sleep in irksome sprite. So, you know, the former fight with error, and now he was half asleep, and then he woke up only. So all of that again made him feel tired, so he fell back to sleep. When he slept, again the dreams came back, okay, and this time it was about luxurious beds and attractions. Everything tried to attract him, okay, in his sleep. So, you know, he was getting attracted to it, and now the dream, when he saw that all his labor was in vain, the dream saw that the Red Cross Knight was strong, okay, to refrain. He was strong enough to reject all of those temptations. So now when he saw his labor was in vain, with that misformed spirit, he back returned again. So he went back to that spirit which was disguised as Una. Okay, so this is end of Canto 1, Book 1. We have ended Book 1 of Canto 1, Book 1 of Faerie Queene, of the Faerie Queene. In the further videos that are to come, we are going to deal with the other remaining cantos of Book 1. And if you have found this video informational, if it has been helpful for you, then don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel for all things literature. Until we meet again, may you always be blessed with good health, love all things literature, and more power to you. Thank you.